How did you get your girlfriend? Picked up 3 chairs at the same time. Humor. It all started with a few jokes and we had a laugh. 6 years later she's my wife. Sense of humor is hands down the cheapest, easiest way to make a really good impression and have people like being around you. It's not what you do or say that people remember. It's how you made them feel. Make people feel good around you and they'll want to be around you, women included. We lived in the same neighborhood for years but never really noticed each other until my dog got her dog pregnant. Best wingman ever. I didn't knew her but we had a friend in common that used her own wedding as a way to play matchmaker between us. She organized a game where each guest was paired with another one and every duo had to take a silly picture with a small prize for the silliest one. Here is my conversation just after meeting her. Me. So we have to take a silly picture. Do you have an idea? Her. No, we can do whatever you want. Me. What about a picture where I pretend to strangle you? Her. Ah no. That would be mean. Me. Okay then. So what about a picture where I pretend to FCK you in the ass? Her. Okay. I was in love. Hated each other at work for over a year. Bumped into her on a night out and she looked sexy as hell. We danced, kissed, got a taxi home together. No funny business. I dropped her off and stayed in the taxi. Met up for a date a few days later and that was over 10 years ago. We've now got 2 kids and get married next year. I was in a nightclub for a friend's 19th birthday. Hadn't really been pursuing girls as I was happy just having pints with the guys. Around 2 AM I see this girl on the dance floor and my brain just goes ding ding. Now I had recently read in a men's magazine that when you first make eye contact with a girl, you have to be decisive and go over there and introduce yourself without hesitation. Because if you hesitate or shy away then you look low confidence or not fully interested and she will be less receptive to your advance. So with this magazine advice in the back of my mind, I said to myself do it. I didn't take my eyes off her. I walked straight across the crowded dance floor, maintaining eye contact. So I get up to her, and I hadn't planned this far in advance. I had no line to deliver so I just kind of said hello. Luckily she said hi and we ended up making small talk. I didn't know how to seal the deal but somehow ended up giving her a hug, which then turned into a kiss. Then I realized my phone was dead and I had no way to take her number. Luckily my friend the birthday boy was on hand and she entered her number into his phone for me. A couple of days passed then I texted her to ask her out to the cinema the following Wednesday night, and we hit it off from there. We are now together 13.5 years, are married for the last 5.5, and have 2 children and a dog. I was at a country bar nightclub. I saw this group of girls across the way. I picked out prettiest of them and took my chance. Walked up to her, lifted my hat, gave an ear-to-ear grin, and said, "Mom, would you like to dance with me?" She giggled, looked me over, and said no thanks. Ouch. My prode. But then one of her friends downed a Jager bomb, slammed the glass down, burped, and said fuck it, come here cowboy, I'll dance with ya, and we did. Spent the night getting completely shit-faced and dancing until my calves were on fire. She came home with me and we had really fun sloppy sex. Next morning she got dressed and said, "Hey, is it a one night thing or do you want my number to do it again?" Glad I got her number. We've been together 6.5 years now. I was walking around at a football game and my friend was walking with this really cute girl and he said, "Hey, my name. My friend thinks you're cute, you should date her," and so we did. From the wife, I met her at a friend's picnic. Well, first, I was really impressed that you baked. I made all the desserts for the party. And I like that you showed interest, but not desperation. You were respectful and polite, and you showed me that you listen and are attentive. When she looked cold, I offered her a sweatshirt. I asked about her dog, and the next time we saw each other, I gave her a pack of his favorite treats. What impressed me most is how fearless and friendly you are with strangers. You talk to anybody and make them feel comfortable and appreciated. Saw girl on Instagram. Messaged girl on Instagram asking for a date. She said yes. We never spoken before then, but I figured FK it. Worst thing that can happen is she says no and I go and JK off like I was going to anyway. Every single girlfriend I've ever had approached me. I'm 28. Last girlfriend was at 19. Girls just stopped approaching, so I guess I'll die single lol. I met her a while ago and asked her on a date. She, obviously, said no because she literally just got engaged. Years later I ran into her again and found out her marriage ended. We got to catching up and things just happened. I was a lot more confident, funny, and charming back then though. I had a shit ton of charisma and I did very well with women. I'm a shell of who I once was, unfortunately. I'm anxious and shy. I never know what to say anymore, because honestly, I'm scared how people will react. I don't know what happened to me. She says it's because I found another girlfriend after she initially rejected me. I guess finding a girlfriend after you've been rejected makes you more attractive. She dated my best friend in high school. They weren't serious and she had a huge crush on me. Cut to years later and my friend tells me I should go on a date with her, even calls her to come hang out with us. We played some darts with mutual friends and I leaned in and said for good luck while kissing her on the lips. 11 years later and we are still together. Be friendly and make an effort to smile and ask questions to everyone you meet, not just girls. Get practiced at holding conversations with people and eventually a girl is going to be attracted to you and hopefully you feel the same. Just have longer, more personal conversations with the one you're attracted to and see where it goes. We learn as much in our failures as we do in our successes, but you have to try many times. Because Tinder effed up actually. We both had our distances set to 10 miles max and we live 30 miles away from each other. We tried to figure out if we were anywhere near each other when we matched, but there's no way it should have happened. A year and a half later and we're still going strong. We were acquaintances in high school. One day she thought it'd be cool to clean out my locker for me without telling me. I failed to see her kind gesture because I lost a book from that ordeal. For that I yelled at her. Years later after we started dating, she told me that made her want me. I'm still confused by this. We met freshman year of high school. I asked her out a week before homecoming and we went together. That night she broke up with me because I didn't dance with her at all. Valid reason tbh. A year later I get her a nice necklace for Valentine's Day and we end up walking back to her place later that day. Mutual acquaintance pressures me into asking her out at that moment. So she says yes and then before she goes inside she kisses me and runs in for the night. A month later she breaks up with me again. 2 more years go by and I have a night of liquid luck where I am the most charismatic, smooth motherfucker on the planet. End up playing every card right that night. Flirting, humor, just enough contact, and then when I leave her house at like 1 to 2 am. I kiss her deeply and just leave. A week or 2 goes by and we're officially dating. Been together ever since and we're coming up on 6 years of being in an official relationship now. Couldn't be happier. Obviously there's a ton of details missing in my timeline, but that's the bare minimum. Truly a roller coaster of relationship drama mixed in there. Offered her my hoodie and the hand warmers from my underwear at a music festival. Chuck a dart at a family tree and see where it lands. Basically we were on a video chat and we both said we had something to tell each other and then my GF's brother screams, GF's name, likes YOUUUU and we've been together for 7 months now, so honestly as much as I hate him I kinda owe him. I was young, horny, and broke. I had a free account on an online dating site that charged to be able to contact people. I found her profile and she had managed to sneak the first half of her email address past the censors, so I googled her several times over the next week until she posted on another website with her email and then I contacted her out of the blue. Later, after chatting back and forth a few times, she told me where she worked and I said I might swing by sometime. The very next day her boss walked into the back room where she worked and offered to call the cops because some guy who was mispronouncing her name and introduced himself as my name from the internet was looking for her. We've been married for over a decade and have a kid now. Bonus story, it was raining the day I proposed, so the romantic walk in the park was a no-go. Instead we were walking around a pet store waiting until closer to the movie time to hit the theater. I proposed in the hamster aisle. I still haven't lived that down. I got stalked by an aspy girl who learned I was depressed. Super empathetic, had no idea I was uncomfortable around her. She's my manic pixie dream girl. Mine started out as a FWB, but we eventually caught feelings. Going on 3 years official now. Tinder date gone right. First date, it was pitch black out and -10°C. I took her to the river where there was a homemade zipline that you have to hook up to with a climbing harness. We zipped across the river and set up a hammock and some trees, hopped in a sleeping bag and drank hot chocolate and Baileys. She told all her friends where she was going and my name in case I was a serial killer or something. Turns out I'm not a serial killer and she's been my GF for 2 years now. Just kind of happened after speaking and being friends a few months with my last one. Lasted 6 years, was a great relationship. Asked her if she wanted to go for a ride in my motorcycle. She did. That was nearly 30 years ago. Have female friends. It goes a fucking long way to just be around women so you aren't scared to talk to one. Eventually you'll be talking 100% casually and being your complete unfiltered self around them. Pretty much every girl I've ever been involved with was one I wasn't trying at all to get with. Just one day I realized they were cute and that we're close, so I decide to flirt a little bit. If you know how to joke, you know how to flirt. If you notice they laugh to relieve tension rather than at something that funny, they could be shy. But if you're 100% chill with them, it's likely sexual tension. Don't jump in 100%. Test the waters and try flirting a little bit. It's not binary. Even if they're interested in you, they might not necessarily say yes to a date or anything overtly romantic in nature. Just take it slow and be considerate of how comfortable they are. I was always terrified of talking to women. I went to my first party and had my first drink. Turns out that all you need to talk to women, and that's how I met my current girlfriend. My wife. I listen. I'm attentive. I care about what is going on in her life and her growth as a person. I try to be funny. I try to be witty. Mostly, I do my best to care about her as I would care about myself.